So thank you so much. Today we're having the data science director and the analytics director of Chipstead.
Mm-hmm.
I think I pronounced it correctly,
Yes.
finally. It's Tim van Kasteren, that is from Netherlands. It's that kind. Chipstead, no one knows Chipstead, but Chipstead is a big company. I mean, you have InfoJobs, you have Fotocasa, you have many other things. What else do you have?
We have marketplaces in 30 different countries,
Mm-hmm.
and we have a lot of newspaper media houses in Norway and Sweden.
Wonderful.
Yes, and I'm one of the data science managers there.
Uh-huh.
So we have a central product and technology organization, which is spread over Barcelona, London, Oslo, and Stockholm.
Wonderful. How did you land there?
Me personally.
Yeah, you personally, because you come from Netherlands, you have been working, how you guess, tell us about you.
I have a background in applied machine learning.
Mhm.
I did a PhD in smart home solutions, so human behavior algorithms in smart homes, and I worked for a while in an R&D organization.
Mm-hmm.
Where we were building solutions for smart homes and smart cities. And there I saw the challenge of doing research in an industry organization. And I wanted to work in an environment where they were using the data science model, so where we have a more integrated solution so that your research is more tightly coupled to the development. The data science model does that. So I started looking around for that, and I ended up at Chipstead.
Wow. Fantastic.
So yeah, Chipstead at the time, this is about 2-3 years ago, they were building up a central organization to become more data driven as an organization. And basically what we're doing today is together with the local organizations, build solutions that we can roll out to different marketplaces and media houses across the organization.
Data science probably now is in the hype.
Mhm.
This hype cycle or not. Or maybe not, maybe it's just starting, then it's going to be bigger and bigger and bigger. How do you see that? How do you see that in Spain, in all the markets that you are? How do you see the field?
I think the word data science, it's it's a buzzword that is being used at the moment as a solution to everything, right? And in practice, what you see is that data science is part of the work that needs to be done to roll out certain solutions, especially in data-driven products. I mean, there are other buzzwords coming up, like machine learning has been becoming more popular, but also artificial intelligence is now the big word that's also up and coming. I think reality will catch up with what that word actually means for an organization. So now there's a lot of buzz, but over time it's going to be more clear like what is the actual value that data science offers, and I think that's already visible in companies today.
Tell us about what do you do, because we always, when everybody says data science and so on, we always think about Google or Facebook or Airbnb and these huge things and so on. How is reality? How is day-to-day life? What are the projects that you work in that are really interesting?
The team I lead, it's called the user modeling team. Basically, we take behavioral data of our users from our websites, and we predict attributes of our users using machine learning.
Now, that means that what the users see and attributes means...
The behavior is what users see. So a page view on our website is one behavioral observation. And an attribute about the user could be, for example, the gender or the age of the user. So the models that we build are able to predict that based on the behavior. For example, if you browse in a particular category on a marketplace site predominantly, then that can be a strong indicator of your gender. And that information is in turn used in targeted advertising, which means the advertisement that is shown to the user is more relevant and therefore more valuable, and that is for us a way to make revenue.
Oh, wonderful. I'm sure that you are full of success stories. Tell us some of your success stories. What is this thing that data science contributing in jobs or cars or all your websites that you manage?
Right. I think one of the biggest challenges that we faced was with one of our prediction models that wasn't performing as well as we hoped it would perform. And it's a classic data science story or example. Like often what happens is, a lot of work goes into preparing the data, making sure the data is available, it's of high quality, things like that. And once that's done, often the data science work can be quite straightforward. You try a few models and then you bring it into production, and that way it's rolled out. In this particular case, the model even after a few experiments was not performing as we wanted, and we invested about like a week or two of experimentation to figure out what is like the best model that would be useful. And there are quite a few factors to take into account there. Of course, performance is great, but we have a production environment where if we go outside of the toolbox that production environment offers, it can take a lot of maintenance costs to keep that up and running. And in this case, the model that performed best was XGBoost, which was not part of the toolkit that we were used to using. So there is a trade-off there. Like, do we go outside of the box for the sake of performance, or do we stick to the less performing models? And we decided to go with XGBoost, and we put the effort to bring it into production and to get it up and running. And now it's running on a daily basis its jobs and performing very well. So that's something that, end to end, it had some hard work, but in the end, it's able to provide predictions for many of our sites today. So it's
Do you measure the bottom line? Do you measure the impact that these models have in the business, or do you do any of this?
Definitely, yeah. The predictions that we deliver, we provide them to our advertisement department, and we have a very close collaboration with them to and hear feedback from them regularly on the impact that things make. So that's part of the equation.
Fantastic. Some of our students are concerned about do I have to be a geek to go into this business, or I can be a business guy and I can contribute and they're going to accept me, or what is this, or if I'm not absolutely technical, there's no way for me to enter. What do you think about that? Is there space for the completely non-geeky guys in this world?
Yeah. In the work that we do, as I manage the team, I have to keep an eye out on the skill sets that we have in the different among the different team members. And the way I see it, there are three categories of skills basically. One is engineering, so really being able to put things in production, proper coding skills, things like that. The second one is more around data science, but also things like experimentation, having a good understanding of the models, why does one model work better than the other, things like that. And then the third area is what I call storytelling. And storytelling is basically things like if you have results in the form of metrics like performance or area under the curve or things like that. How do you translate that to something that is actionable in the organization? And that's, I think, a skill that is the least geeky of them all. And really requires some cross-disciplinary skills to be able to do that, to understand not just the numbers side of it, but how you can translate this to make it actionable in the organization.
One last question. You have to give an advice to our students about what to do with their careers, how they can manage and so on, which would be the advice that you will give them? Study a lot of Python to be geeky in AWS, or what would be your advice?
When you're a student, you have still quite some time. I mean, this is why you go to an education, to go in depth. So my advice would be to, during your education, really take that time to understand things very fundamentally. When you're working in a project, it's often much more difficult to really find the time to go in depth. There's often an assumption that you have already a lot of fundamental knowledge. And as you work, your experience helps you to grow on that. So my advice would be, don't rush through the homework to just get the grade, but really spend time to understand things well. And in a nutshell, don't become a toolbox data scientist that is only able to take some data, throw some models at it in a kind of trial and error manner, and just go with the highest performance, but really understand why does something work well and something else does not work well from a more theoretical point of view and as a framework as a whole.
So thank you so much, and thank you so much for being with us here in Esteve. And well, we hope that we can collaborate in the coming years.
Great,
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.